My name is Maurice Wentz, and I grew up on 2nd and Wright from a family of 13. I graduated from Riverside University High School, graduated from Oshkosh, Wisconsin with the Human Service and Education. My wife and I are current members of Parklawn Assembly of God for 10 plus years. Real estate investors and developers here in the Sherman Park neighborhood. This very month marks the onset, 5-year onset of the riots or the civil unrest 5 years ago here in the Sherman Park neighborhood. And as members at Parklawn Assembly of God, Bishop Walter Harvey led the charge in saying, okay, church, this is it. This is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to go outside the walls in the community of the church and go not just be in the community, but a part of the community. And after the settling of the riots, we initiated Prism EDC and Upstart Kitchen to kind of address some of the cries that the community had. Bishop Harvey led that charge, and during the course of leading that charge, gathering not just churches here locally, but suburban area churches, and saying, we need to change and things need to change. And he asked for specific leaders to come forth, and as real estate investors and developers and members of Parklawn, my wife and I stepped up to the plate and felt like we were led by God to undergird Bishop, so to speak, as the real estate component to multiple ventures right here in the Sherman Park neighborhood, Clean Laundromat and Upstart Kitchen. Some of the needs and some of the things that we've identified is a food disparity, a lack of businesses or a lack of platforms or outlets for businesses. Sherman Park Grocery Store idea came about. Unfortunately, that particular commercial daycare center did not survive COVID. And once that happened and my wife and I got the keys back into our hands, we literally wanted to know, practicing good stewardship, God, what would you have us do with this? Do we lease it back out as a facility or a daycare facility? But understanding the need, the food disparity, the lack of fresh fruits and produce, and the lack of the food desert or high food desert or access to fresh fruits and produce here in this particular area, and a high population of folks that are on AFDC, EBT. The closest convenient they have is the 2 gas stations that sit both on this corner. So our closest grocery stores would be 2 miles north or half a mile south, and there is no actual adequate, high quality food grocery store to address those needs. Some of our children wake up in the morning and they don't have access to breakfast foods or fruits and vegetables and produce and dairy and milk and cheese. This particular venture will help us address the food disparities that we currently have with not just single women and children, but single men and single women living below the poverty line here in this particular area, in our community, right outside Parklawn's doors. Coming out of COVID, we need a win so that we can come across the finish line and meeting some needs with the contractors and the plumbing and the build out and the equipment and the stocking our shelves. So, what does that mean, Mo? Well, let's take it a little further. The need of our folks here in Sherman Park area, food, clothing, and shelter, those are needs that are urgent right here in this neighborhood, with the lack of nutrition or access to healthy nutrition from prenatal care all the way up to pre-diabetes and healthy eating and high blood pressure and cholesterol, and those things will be enveloped right here on Sherman Park, Fond du Lac area and Parklawn Village. I think this particular opportunity allows us to gain momentum from just hearing word of mouth. Possibly the city of Milwaukee or federal government and or hospitals and corporations and suburban churches and just Christians sitting at home on their couch saying, you know what, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of building community, neighboring The Bible speaks on God saying that he poured out his spirit. And here's the common theme. Let's just not be Christians inside the church, but outside the walls and building communities in your community, in my community, and communities abroad, and just helping stabilize, not just through the Word of God, but literally community. My hope is that this particular opportunity will see and will gain momentum, and lives will be changed with the partnering or the collaboration that we possibly might be able to gain out of this. Lives will be changed and continuing the momentum so that we can address additional needs in our community.